Welcome back to That Variety Nerd. I'm Christina, and today we are going through one big speed build. It's a loft remodel, as you can sort of see from this exterior, and here's the build inspiration for this upcoming build. I placed this in Newcrest, and I thought the layout was really interesting and unique, and I think it turned out the best that it could given the Sims 4 capabilities in terms of its building. So, what are we waiting for? Link down in the description for the build inspiration, and let's get into the build. All right, and so here we are diving right into the build, and you can sort of see that this is honestly like I feel like half of the problem with this build that I was having was honestly just trying to get the layout together just so that way I could get it as close as I could because we can't really do lofts in The Sims 4, not in the sense of like, oh yeah, well, here's how you do it. Like here's a loft tool. Like I wish we did have some sort of loft tools. Like I know split levels are a thing, but it's like sometimes you don't want a full floor, if that makes any sense. You just want like a partial floor, and that's sort of what I was going with this build. And again, it's 2 stories, but if you sort of take a look at the actual final build, and both the unfurnished and furnished versions of the build are online, so, well, rather on the gallery, I should say. And yeah, I really enjoyed having I had a lot of fun with this build, even though most of the speed build is more than likely going to be just building, which makes sense, right? Right. I actually had to do this in 2 separate sittings, mostly because I was getting hungry and wanted food. And yeah, I did this in 2 different settings or sittings. I don't remember. Yeah, 2 different sittings because because it took me so long to get the build part nailed. Because once I get a structure, I can basically furnish it after. I'm one of those weird builders where it's like I suck at building my own houses, but I like to remodel and furnish everything, if that makes any sense at all. It's sort of like how you have those like design games or something like that, where it's like they already give you like, oh yeah, here's a living room, decorate it. Like I can do that, but building, it's still a challenge, but that's why I enjoy it. But yeah, this video also has a lot of new stuff that I was trying out. Um, and also make sure, per usual, make sure that you have testing cheats enabled because I use move objects, I use the scaling up and scaling down feature a little bit. I use the feature where you can move things up and down using like numbers 9 and 0, which I realize it sounds kind of backwards because it's not a numerical order, but apparently QWERTY keyboards, and by QWERTY, that's the technical term for most modern keyboards, because the first few letters that are on the first row of like the letters are QWERTY, and so that's where it sort of comes from. So just some little trivia for you all. Um, I knew those IT classes would come in someday. But yeah, the exterior was so hard to do because I was trying to stack the columns onto each other. And again, I wish we had like half floors, like loft sort of things in The Sims. And this is what I was mentioning about when it came to like using the up and moving things up and down. And yeah, it kind of baffles me that we don't have that sort of feature all the time, just being able to stack columns onto each other. I don't know, maybe that's just me being weird. But yeah, I didn't use any sort of elevation or anything like that. So if you want to move it on, if you want to move it up a little bit, you can do that. I'm thinking of the Move It On Up challenge, which by the way, like this week's episodes they were wonderful. They were quite delightful, and I had a lot of fun recording and uploading them. And yeah, so happy Friday, everyone. Well, at the time that this is getting uploaded, I'm recording the voiceover and editing the video on like Tuesday the 28th, which is also National Burger Day. So whether you're eating a veggie burger, turkey burger, whatever, if you're celebrating late, also cool too. Also cool too. So yeah, it's Dean Winchester's favorite holiday, I'm guessing. So, yeah, I hope you all survived last week's heat wave because this week has just been bonkers with weather. Oh my goodness. Like, especially like, okay, so I'm originally from Ohio and I'm originally from Northern Ohio. So, like, Cleveland area. That's literally just what I tell people. I'm like, oh, I'm from Cleveland, when really I'm like outside of Cleveland. But that I feel like I feel like that's just a thing in general where it's like, oh yeah, sure, like there may be 20,000 people in my town or whatever, or oh well, there's like 1,000 people here, 20,000 here, whatever the case might be. I feel like we just say the nearest metro area, just in general, just so that way people get a better sense of like where we're from. So yeah, it's really funny. People think I'm like from Cincinnati because that's where I moved from when I moved to Kentucky, but I'm actually from Cleveland. I just haven't been up there in nearly 2 years because I'm terrible. If this heat keeps getting bad, I might just have to make a trip up to Northern Ohio because I can't. I might have to go more north than that. So if anyone in the Midwest or in the North wants to like temporarily like adopt me, I'm okay with that too. I cannot. I've already dealt with. And here's the thing too. Like this is the thing that really that gets me going as well. And I know this is totally unrelated to building, but yeah, this is sort of just getting back to the build and not so much on weather, which I could talk all day about. Yeah. So what I tend to do is that I try to envision like a family or a household that will be in this. And for me, it was actually hard to figure it out because I was trying to get, I was working with the build inspiration. So I ultimately sort of thought about like maybe two siblings or like two roommates or something like that. You can be kind of flexible with it. I wouldn't 100% recommend having toddlers in here, but you can make it work if you turn like the downstairs bedroom into like a playroom area or something like that, or like a toddler room and just lock them in there. I mean, what? I struggle with toddlers in The Sims 4, and I'm hoping that some of you all do too, because it's sort of like, for me, I just get too impatient. I'm like, why don't you level up your potty skill, or why don't you level up your thinking skill? This is why I am not going to be a parent in the near future. I would just be like, no, you need to learn to potty. The Sims told me to do so. Yeah, so what I try to do as well is that I try to keep like a family or a couple of different households involved because I know there are so many different types of players that are out there. So one of the things I thought about was like maybe like an introvert and an extrovert like set of twins or something, or a pair of twins rather, because it's sort of like opposite personalities. That was sort of what I was thinking, or maybe like just a couple of totally bro roommates. Like I feel like this would possibly be a house that maybe like Don Lothario would probably move into, like if you had it kind of more of a Spanish style to it, because like him and like the Calientes are all in like Oasis Springs. But yeah, this seems like a totally like almost dude pad, like bachelor pad almost. So a couple of dude roommates or something. I don't know. That's the beauty of it. You can turn it into whatever you want. Hence why I try to upload an unfurnished version of a build and then a furnished version. If it's a remodel, then it's like I just write remodel on the end of it. So there's that. And yeah, I usually make these roughly about 20 minutes, but I was like, all right, we're cutting it down this week a little bit on the speed build. It's really funny. I actually recorded the speed build on the 21st, I think. Yeah, on May 21st. That's what the file, original video file says. And I'm like, oh, I'm just now uploading it on the 31st, so that just shows where my priorities are at. But in all seriousness, like I think everything's going okay, so that's what matters, right? Right. And so, yeah, I just try to place little objects just to try to figure out what I'm going to do in each room. I think that's fair. And I really just like how the windows are just from top to bottom like that. And yes, the original house does have a weird door from the outside leading into a bathroom. You're not just seeing things. I'm sure that was a concern, but alas, it's a thing. It is a very, very real thing. And yeah, so I included just something simple like that. I don't know why the gallery popped up for a second, but it's fine. But yeah, this is the part where we start to dive into the furnishing of this house, which is very, very exciting. The screenshots, I think, really do this house justice. And yeah, as you can see, I uploaded the furnished version while I was recording this. So the unfurnished version while I was recording this. I think that makes some sort of sense. I'm almost to, if I'm not already at 200 downloads. So thank you all for your support. If you want to like go ahead and follow me or check out any of my other builds, I try to hashtag everything with ThatVarietyNerd. But you can also look me up on Origin at the same thing. And oh my god, so I have to tell you all about this. So I got actually low-key excited. So I got Origin Access again, meaning that I have Origin Access for the next year because it's like it's $30 a year. Like, what else am I gonna really do this summer? And if you get Origin Access, even the basic account, you get like a 10% discount off of like future Sims packs. Even if it's just like the tax, like it still counts because like Ohio tax is just I don't even want to know what sales tax or tax in general will look like for other folks, but Ohio taxes are ooh. It's like I live in Kentucky, but sometimes I get charged the Ohio tax because like everything is registered, like I'm technically on paper an Ohioan even though I reside in Kentucky. The whole thing is weird as an out of state student. Like that's a whole separate thing for another day. But yeah, I've been getting better and better with streaming on Twitch for right now. I think I'm planning on just streaming on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, mostly because like Wednesday is kind of like my night where I like to catch up with family and go from there. And Friday is sort of like my chill day where I either just chill around the house, I chill somewhere else, I work on my god awful fanfic that I write on the side that I never publish. It's so funny. Some people like myself, we just write fan fiction for funsies or just we write in general, but we never publish it anywhere because it's like that would just kill it for us. We want that joy in there. Like we worry so much about getting published and all that fun stuff, and I'm just like, meh. I need something for me. It's that sense of fulfillment. Plus, like, yeah, I also do like National Novel Writing Month too, so it just shows that I love reading and writing. I'm getting more into reading right now. I'm reading this really cool. I'm reading a bunch of different books at the same time. I'm trying to finish up books that I like started reading like over a year ago when I was still an undergrad. And I'm like, holy crap. Well, at least I'm about halfway done. Like I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale right now. I'm reading 1984. I started reading this really cool book on former Pres Truman or something like that. Again, I majored in journalism and political science, so it's sort of like, yeah, I'm that nerd. I like to read about crime and like politics and just social issues. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. But yeah, I for Twitch, I've been finding that Xbox, I've been having a lot more luck getting better quality there. But I'm also, again, it's a whole thing. Like, I'm streaming just anything at this point on Twitch. So yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'm doing my best and trying to adhere to my Tuesday and Thursday sort of schedule. And a lot of the next maybe week or two's content is going to be more pre-recorded just because I have family coming in from out of town and I need to get my ish together just in general. So there's that. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this house, just period. I really like each of the bedrooms especially, but my favorite little space is the little officey sort of area down on the first level, which is like right next to the living room. It's more like a skill building space, but I wanted each room to have some sort of skill building sort of function. So even the one bedroom, even the bottom level bedroom where it's just like, oh, it doesn't really have much, it does have a mirror and you can build up acting skills if you have Get Famous, you have charisma skill there. You can build a couple different skills with that. So that's sort of what I was going with. This one, it has like a desk, it has a bar. Again, I sort of got like more of a bachelor pad sort of thing, sort of vibe going for here. And I wanted to include a little bit of a patio just outside, nothing super fancy or anything like that. Just because again, this is all base game, by the way. All of this is base game. You're welcome. I try not to go super crazy with packs unless if I'm like maybe doing a renovation or something like that. But even then, I try to keep the packs to a minimum. I try to figure out which packs usually sort of fit together well. Like I know City Living and Get Famous, they match really well together. Just as an example. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this build. I can't really describe it anything else other than that. I kind of put in this fake little balcony almost just to make it all tie together somehow. But if you want to turn that into an actual balcony, you can do that too. Again, there's a lot of and this stupid outdoor bathroom. It's actually in the original floor plan, which the link is down below. So make of that what you will. Just make of that what you will, alright? Alright. But yeah, I think coming up we are about to jump into the screenshots. And again, I really, really enjoyed this build. I know we sort of rambled on in this video, but that's sort of what we're all about on the speed builds. Oh, I love this screenshot of the living room. I love it. I really, really love it. And I hope you all enjoyed this speed build. Again, both the furnished and unfurnished versions. Oh, I love this area. Are both on the gallery under That Variety Nerd. And yeah, please follow me on social media. Please leave a like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I hope you all have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. So yeah, bye everyone.